Good morning, my friends. I am really excited. I was watching a video this morning from my beautiful friend Lydia over at February and June, and she was making some fun borders or banners or garlands, whatever you want to call them, for her journal out of magazine papers, and I just cannot wait to give it a go. I've made these types of, pull them out, you fold them up, do the cutting, then pull them out and reveal your pattern. I've made them before, but not out of magazine papers and not specifically to use as a border in my journal. And I really want to do this. So I've got no plan really on what I might create out of my garlands. I have pre-chosen a few magazine papers. I thought let's cut down some of the time in hunting. And I have another magazine here, which if we get through these, we can look at that one. Or maybe we'll just do a couple of these and then go to that magazine. So first off is this one. I originally was looking at this side here, and then when I pulled it out, I flipped it over and it's like, I really like the red. Red is one of my favorite colors, or my favorite color. Not this particular red, probably more tending towards this red, but still it grabs me. So why not work with it? I'm just going to line it up here. I haven't grabbed out my big paper trimmer, so I'm just going to tear, and we'll have a torn edge, and that is fine by me. So just trying to get it straight is the main thing. So I'll tear this and then see which side we prefer. So this side with all its red yumminess, or this side. I don't like the black part so much, so it would mean trimming it down to at least there. So I think I'm going to go with this side. We do have a little bit of text there, and I'm not overly fussed on the text either. So let's just trim off the text at the bottom there. And I'll only probably do one from each magazine page, although some of them will have, plenty of room to do more than one. So we're just going to fold this in half, lengthways, and fold it in half again. And I think Lydia, when she did hers, folded it back this way and then back this way. I typically just fold it in half again, like so. I don't think it really matters which way you do it. Just fold it up until you're happy with the size of whatever piece you've got. And of course, making it still workable, that you can one, cut through it, two, fold it and keep it reasonably tidy and straight-ish. I mean, it's going to be fairly forgiving if it's not completely straight. So you don't want to cut through completely on your folded edges. Top and bottom, absolutely fine, but on your folded edges you need to leave parts that are still attached, otherwise it's just going to fall apart, and you'll have however many sheets there, you'll have individual elements. So what am I going, I have no idea what I'm going to cut, no idea. I'm just going to go for it, and maybe Lydia did stars, and I'm thinking, do I want to do stars? And I'm going to have bits all across my desk. So it's just going to be a wonky start because I haven't pre-drawn or anything. So we need to leave a bit of a, so it won't be a point on that, point, because otherwise it would just fall apart. I don't know how many points we're going to have on the start. We'll find out. Whoops, remember to leave a bit of a gap there. So I want 2 points on this edge that are connected. This is going to be such a wonky star. I don't even know if it will look like a star. Kind of not. And that's okay. Like, we're just getting warmed up. Just give that a bit more of a, see, yeah, that totally funky, totally. But that's okay. Let's have I didn't grab out anything to put them on. Let's just grab out a bit of paper here so you can see them easier than on the cutting mat. So very important too to be careful when you're unfolding them, otherwise you could easily, they tend to stick to each other when you cut them. You could just tear it apart. Now they are completely wonky, weird stars, and I did do something weird there, but that's okay. But it's still kind of cool, you know. Put it down the edge of your page and we'd have to trim off some stars, maybe where that one is cut, give or take. I mean, that's cool, right? Wonky stars. It's just cool. It's just interesting. Now, of course, it doesn't need to be down a journal page. It could easily be down a tag. What have I got? This is kind of a tag shape. It's a large tag shape. Could decorate your tag like that. You know, collage it up and then put that on top, or have it down the middle. I think lots of uses. So much fun. Just the fun of doing it is, I encourage you to give it a go. Even if you don't think you would actually use them in anything that you do or anything that you make, it will depend on what you choose for your pattern and colour as to whether you would use it. If you don't like shiny, choose matte magazine papers. But at the end of the day, if you don't like what you make, it's magazine paper. It's not going to matter if you just bin it. You've had fun, just fun, play, experiment. Don't take it too super serious, but have fun. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to just come on here and have a play. I will link Lydia's video in the description box below, because I thoroughly recommend that you go headlong and watch it. She is such fun to listen to as she makes these. It's such a joyous video, and I think you'll probably enjoy it a lot more than my video. Just putting it out there, you probably enjoy her video a lot more than mine, because just the excitement in her voice is so cool. You know, when somebody's really in that zone and enjoying what they're doing, it really captivates, or at least it captivates me. Right, just eyeballing, so it may not be completely straight. Oops, and it won't be when I move the paper. Wasn't holding my ruler. Oh, that's not going to work. That is too far off, and I can't resurrect that without making a mess. So let's grab out the trimmer. And it's too long, so I'm going to fold it in half and then pop it in my guillotine. Because that edge went completely haywire. And yeah, I'm saying don't be too precious about, you know, getting it straight, but I need to. And if you're like me, then just do what you need to. I needed it straighter than what I was on the way to producing. So I thought this two-tone of the orange and the teal was quite fun. Now, big question, what am I going to try cutting? I think I'm going to do a random one. And Lydia did a random one right at the end of her video. And that's probably, to be honest, my speed is like just making random cuts. You know, like you make snowflakes as a kid doing this method. Just doing whatever. So I'm just going to start and make some cuts. So that's my fold line, so I'm leaving 2 points there. And just take some tiny little pieces out if I can. Shiny paper, it does tend to move on you, so you think you've cut all the way through, but the inner layers can be sitting differently. Creating lots of little bits of shrapnel. Trying to get a bit of fancy here, doing a little curly Q. Right, now our other fold line, we need something connecting it there, so I'm going to try triangles. I'm not really doing anything different to what Lydia did, I'm just playing. I will probably try drawing out some patterns like Lydia did, but I just really wanted to get stuck in and just play and see what I could do. I'm going to have to do a massive cleanup on my desk after this process. Although the ones that landed here, easy. Tip them into my rubbish bin. Okay, so this is going to be interesting shape. It's just completely random. And of course, when you're flattening it out, also be very careful. You don't want to go very tough because you're likely to catch on one of the bits and like just tear it, which would be a shame after spending that time cutting it out. I love that. So that's almost wide enough to do a full page across. Or we could cut it in half, so where that middle line is, cut it in half and like center it on each half of the page. Would be quite cool too. So what do you think? I think it's fun. It's random, it's cute. Okay, remember to put aside the papers that I've already used. I do want to tackle this other magazine because it's got pages in it that are really good for this type of project where you just want colour and texture. So this is a craft magazine, but it's got a lot of quilting in it, and quilting designs make good texture and colour. So I just want to find a suitable page that I like even that one would be fine. Keep my hand in it. That one's a bit more blue and green tones, I guess is what I'm trying to say. My brain went on shutdown there for a moment. I seem to be gravitating to those warm colours. This page. Cool old suitcases. Love those. Right, I think I'm going to fold in half and then use my guillotine. That seems to be a good solution for me to keep things kind of straightish. Whoops. If I can actually fold the paper straight, it's debatable. Right, so I just want to trim up that edge. I'm going to go down this inside edge. And then you can make it as wide or as narrow as you like. I'm tending to make it more narrow. Just what looks good to my eye. It's entirely personal preference and depending how you want to use it. If you want to use it as your main element on a tag, you could make it almost the same width as your tag, and I think that would be really cool. Oops, that is not folded completely in half, but that's okay. We'll just run with it. Do I want to try folding it again? Ooh, dangerous. Dangerous. This might be a bad idea. So I've got quite some layers there. I'm giving it a really good press just to try and compress those layers a little bit. Going to be quite tough to cut into, I think, and not go like all the way through. And what am I going to do with it? Well, good question. I think I'm going to take a little, oh, yep, it's really quite tough, little sort of oval out of that side, and same on this side. Trying to keep it quite shallow but still go through all the layers. Okay, and so that's our sides that are held together. So we've left a bit at the top and bottom on each of the folded edges. Now, how are we going to tackle this? I think what I want to do, oh, I can feel the paper shifting on me as I cut. More layers, the more it's going to shift. So this could this could be interesting, guys. Okay, so I didn't manage to center that, but that's okay because we'll do this one further over this side, and then it will look more deliberate, I hope. So quite simple, couple of ovals or half circles, half ovals in fact, and a couple of triangles. And I'm going to leave it as simple as that and see what we have. Oh, it's kind of looking like X's. Temptation is to pull it to flatten it out, but it won't actually flatten out. It will just warp it and potentially rip it. So I would recommend tacky glue or some sort of liquid glue rather than a glue stick, because trying to glue this with a glue stick I think would be danger zone. I actually really like how that turned out. I don't know what it looks like. It's kind of like an X in some patches, and then depends whether you focus on the gaps or the like the yellow. I don't know, it's just cool. It's interesting. It is interesting to my eye. What do you think? Fun. I'm having fun. Maybe you've grabbed out a magazine or whatever paper you like. It doesn't have to be magazine if you don't have magazines around, or would prefer to make it out of some scrapbook paper or something. I hope you've grabbed out and are playing along. Okay, let's do this one, because this one's a little bit different. It's a plate of some sort of fruit, maybe crabapple. I don't actually know. Or there's another fruit, because they look bigger than crab apples. Oh, what's it called? It's escaped me. It doesn't tell me on the other side because it's a different recipe. Not pomegranates. Oh my gosh, why can I not think of what it is? Persimmon. Is that persimmon? I suspect that's what that is, but I don't know. I've never had one. I'm just guessing, because I think this will provide some interesting look as well. Okay, let's fold it up once again, and shall we try, actually, if I fold this with the design to the inside, then we can draw on the outside without needing to worry about rubbing anything out or what have you. So I'll use pen because I think it will be way easier to see than pencil. And because we're doing it on the back of the paper, we don't need to disguise it. So I'll grab a pen, make sure it works. Yep. Okay, now that I'm prepared, what am I going to do? I don't want to draw on top of that paper in case I slip and mark it. I'm starting with a curve on each of those two corners, trying to keep them about even, but you know, they're not going to end up even by the time I've cut them and the paper's slipped and all that sort of thing. And trying to do a symmetrical design. Don't know how it's going to translate, but could be a bit tricky to cut out as well. Should we do the same at the top, have those corner bits? Why not? And then, I don't know what, there's a triangle without a top on it. I don't know why, just easy to draw. Okay, let's now cut out those bits. Don't know what this is going to look like. So Lydia did hearts and stars and flowers. So you could totally do objects. I was just challenging myself to do something a little different. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I need something in the center here. So maybe a short triangle there, and so it will come out as a diamond hopefully, and a longer triangle at this end. Okay, and after you've drawn your whatever and you've cut it out, you can totally take some more bits out if you think, oh, I need to take a bit out there or do something different here. And if you unfold it and then decide, oh, actually I could do something here, you can fold it back up very carefully and still do that. So just one and done is not necessarily the case. You can totally go back in and refine your little bannery, bordery piece if it's not to your liking. Or you can just discard it and try again with another bit of magazine. Okay, don't know what this is going to look like, guys. It is very random. I do like a good random though, don't you? It's like, unlike when you're drawing something and you want it to look like a flower or look like whatever you are drawing, like my very wonky weird star, when you're doing random, it's like there's no expectation or pressure for it to turn out to look like something because you're not trying to make it look like something. I think there's a lot of freedom in that. A lot of opportunity just to play, license to play. Because sometimes we can get a bit serious about what we're doing, get a bit focused on being perfect or getting it right, whatever right means. And I think doing an exercise like this can just loosen you up, even if you just treat it as a loosening up exercise with no intention on using your pieces, but just letting yourself play, practice your cutting skills or practice your randomness, practice letting go and just giving something a go, giving something a try. So that's my little pep talk for Trashcraft Tuesday. So who's up for it? Who's up for a little bit of creative play with no pressure? Then jump on, grab out your paper, your magazines, whatever you want to use, and your scissors, and a pen if you want to draw your design. So that's what it looks like folded. Let's just get rid of the stuff that landed on my bit of paper. And now the moment of truth. So these are my folded edges this way. So it's not actually, well, it could be that way. Depends which way we put it on our paper. Choices. You can do it vertically or horizontally. Right, and where's the open end? This end. No, this end. Oh, I think that's fabulous. You've been very careful because there's lots of bits I could catch. I am catching my fingers on as I try and flatten it out a little bit. I think that's super cool. And that's the fun of this, guys, is every one that you do is going to turn out differently. Even if you draw the same design or try to draw the same design, it's going to have variances. The paper you use is going to be different from each one. So if we turn it vertical, I like it both ways, but this page is actually longer, so it is actually the full A4. So it would do right across a full A4 page. I love that. I think that's so cool. And it doesn't bother me that we switch to a different colour and texture at the bottom. I just think that's just adds interest. I'm having fun. Okay, how long have we been filming? Okay, we'll do one more because I think you know, there's only so much you want to watch of me doing this similar thing over and over, but I am having fun. This page I've been eyeing up for years. I love the colours, the design. Don't particularly like these weird earpiece things that she's got going on, but I think visually it's very, very interesting. It's the world of wearable art here in New Zealand. That's what it's advertising. So I think it's the text more than anything that I'm wanting to. I suppose we can have part of the text in, it doesn't really matter. Just to give us a little bit more real estate to work with. I mean, look at those colours. Aren't they pretty? Such pretty colours. Okay, let's do it on the colour to the inside again so we can draw a design. And what are we going to do this time? We're going to stick with random. I think random, to be honest, is working for me really well. But do we want to try and do something? I don't know that I would manage to do a feather very successfully. I'm thinking about something that's tall rather than wide, given that this is, although it doesn't matter because if we use it that way, then it can be wide rather than tall. So what am I talking about? I don't know. I'm thinking, let's draw or try and draw a leaf. Whoops. Then let's move that out the way. So that's the stem and the centre vein. So it's going to leave a very narrow join point there. And that's okay. And then of course we can't have the tip of the leaf. So I'm actually not using the full width. Can we try and make that a bit wider? Use more of that piece of paper. So very more rounded leaf. Okay, let's see how this translates. So risking that very narrow point to be the sole connecting point between the pieces. And the other end's not going to be much better in terms of real estate. But nothing ventured, nothing gained with this beautiful coloured bit of paper. Quite easy to cut, I will say. Quite simple to cut out. Just making sure I get through all the layers in the corner there. And easy to discard the rubbish, just 2 bits. Right, unveiling time for our last piece. Actually, the back side's looking pretty interesting too. Okay, now to me it does not look like leaves. If we drew in the stem and the curve and some veins, maybe. But do you know what it looks like to me? Can you see what I see? And there's a clue in what I just said. To me, it looks like glasses, like sunglasses, which, you know, if you're doing a summer theme or something like that, or you've went out and bought new sunglasses or got a new glass prescription, you know, maybe that would fit on a personal journal page to document new glasses. Yeah, it does not look like leaves. I know Lydia struggled to get her leaves to look like leaves. I've had the same experience, even though I tried a different design. They do not look like leaves. They look like sunglasses or, I don't know, bikini top. Oh my gosh, I can't get that out of my brain now. Again, it is wide enough to do along this way. That certainly looks like a bikini top now. That's all I can see. But if we do it vertically, like so, like something like that, we'd have to chop some off, of course. Then it just becomes an interesting pattern, and I no longer see sunglasses or bikini tops. I just see interesting sort of oval shapes connected. So either way, whether you need a sunglass or bikini top imagery for your journal, or you need just a decorative border down the side, there's options. There's my tip. My takeaway for you today is how to create sunglasses or bikini top border for your journals. There we go. You've learnt something. I've learnt something. We've had some fun. So let's have a look at them all now. Lay them out. I mean, so many ways to vary what you get. Like these are all completely different to each other. You'd have to say that they do not at all resemble each other. They are all completely different and fun colours as well. Well, I had a blast. I hope you enjoyed watching and are keen to give it a go, or maybe even craft it along with me. Head along, watch Lydia's video. You'll really enjoy it, I promise. She's a joy to watch. She really is. So take care, my friends. Have a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.